This is the Frontline. We've been meeting since December 14th, I think 2015, and we're still here. In between, we had about 18 months, actually, yeah, 18 months on the road, yes. And since that 18 months, we've been meeting every week, and today we feel vindicated because it was the result of the election that we've been protesting all this time. We had some successful days in that the supervisor of elections was hiding. We don't know why she was hiding. We weren't going to do any harm. All we wanted her to do is to go. But now that we are happy to hear some of the things that came out of the petition hearing, we just thought that we'll share with our friends what we think about the hearing so far and where we think we ought to go, not just as a group but as a nation. Where do we go from here is a question. I want to tell you too that we're still of the belief that there was not a final count with all the returning officers and presiding officers who didn't have with them the Form 16, meaning the audit of the activities in the polling stations, means that because there wasn't a final count, we're dealing with an illegal, unlawful regime. So whoever wants to continue from here, just say what you have to say and don't be too long.
My name is Monica Coombs. I am one of the Frontline, and I have been in the court for 2 days. I've witnessed and I have heard things that I never knew happened, and it was kind of surprise. I am disappointed, especially those who are in authorities keep saying they don't know and they cannot recall. I mean, there's sometimes we could say we don't remember, but it's not everything we don't remember. So I just hope that justice will prevail and we get our justice, because we waited very long for this, and we're hoping and praying that things will turn around for us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, my name is Pat Warner, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Frontline. I could remember the day when they had the uproar in Leo. I was down there very early. I stayed there until everything finished. What I heard and what I seen, I said, it's like you can see that there was something wrong with the election. And after Mr. Eustace and others decided, okay, we'll get on the street, we decided that we'll go on the street. And then we formed a group in the front line, and we was there night and day. Because we within ourselves know and feel that election was stolen. However, during the week that have passed, I was in the court, and what I heard and what I saw, it made me proud, knowing that I was there on the front line for over 18, could be more than 18 months. And those who stood there night and day, I can tell them at this moment that we have done something wonderful and we should be proud of ourselves. We did not do it for ourselves, we did it for the people who have cast a vote. And more so, having a black man to rule this country again, Mr. Eustace, he was denied that. And night and day, I pray that those people who went through the process of stealing the election, they will pay severely, if not by me, by the father or by the court. Also, I think the Governor General has something to do with it too, because they had previous elections that took place around the Caribbean, and when you have something like this, they're supposed to take time before they can swear in the government. And he made Ralph forced him to do that. So he is part of this disillusion. He's part of the problem. And he should be blamed for, I will say personally, for the whole thing, because he could have stopped all this from happening.
My name is Patrick Nice. I too want to commend the courage, the intelligence, and the stick-to-itiveness of the members of the front line. Because when a number of people were in doubt that the election was a gimmick, the election was set, the election was more or less staged, the front line stuck to it. Like some of the brothers and sisters keep saying, the insults, all this scorn that was heaped upon us. Today, history and the reality that came out in the court has proven that we're on the right track. And all the members of the front line were trying to do is to speak for the voiceless people in the country, to speak for the people who are afraid to stand up for themselves. And again, I have to say that some of the most courageous people I have met for a long time in St. Vincent the Grenadines is members of the front line. And one of the most important things that I observed, the majority of the front line members are women, female. And this is why I would like to see in the parliament after the next election coming up, I'd like to see quite a number of women being represented in the parliament coming up. More power to the ladies, and frontline, we have been vindicated. We were right. The election was stolen. Gonsalve, your time is up. You gotta go.
Yes, good evening. My name is Tisha Week, and yes, we are all in togetherness. We knew and we see what have taken place. That's why we went and we're fighting for what is right. And we're not calling wrong right and right wrong. And we're not saying bitter sweet and sweet bitter. We're calling it what it is. A spade, and a sword, whatever it is. And because we, the front line, are so strong, and we say thank God Almighty for the courage, the strength, because we get a lot of insult, you know. But we stand up to all the battles and the cutlass and everything that come our way. We stand up. And today we can say victory, victory, all because we stand in the gap. You don't understand, but we understand and see the seriousness and the meaning of our votes. Our vote mean a lot to us. And we need to be more mindful and stop this party politics, whatever you call it. No, me a yellow, me a blue, and me a green. No, we are one people. We are one Vinci, and we are one nation. God never make us in colors, you know. Oh, He never make us in colors. We are one people. So we are together, and we still holding on. We're going down, you know, even when the ship going down, we're going down with the ship, so we're going to the end. So Gonsalve, pack up and go.
My name is Raymond Oliver, and I am about one of the last persons who have joined the front line. I am not the militant type. I've been always passing on this street and seeing the grouping of the front line there, agitating for democracy. And somehow I was touched, I was moved by their presence. I also saw members of a church, a particular church group, led by ladies. And I say, if the ladies can do it, then I can do it for democracy in my country. So I was moved to join the front line, and that I did, and I've been with the front line in almost every meeting, almost everywhere where we have to go to protest. I'm always there with the front line. I have not been in the courtroom for the hearing of the petition. I have been told from another source what took place in the courtroom. But from what I'm hearing is that it seems as though that the NDP is nearing a victory, a sweet victory which we all in St. Vincent and the Grenadines would welcome. I want to look back on a certain statement that was made by a particular judge who presided over this petition, who said that the NEP was on a fishing expedition. If this is so, then I think that that fishing expedition has yielded a big catch, a massive catch, which we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are much pleased. I trust that the summing up and the outcome of the hearing of this petition would be in favor of democracy and what all Vincentians are looking for. I trust that in the end that we will have fresh elections and democracy would reign in this country. So too, I would like to see changes in our election laws so that we won't have these types of persons, these types of hand-picked persons being put in place and where they can wield things their own way. I trust that everything would be in a democratic process and all Vincentians would be satisfied in a future outcome of any election.
My name is Weena Roberts. I'm from Barley. I have been a member of the Frontline from the inception, from the beginning. Because I knew to myself, I was there behind my television on that fateful night on the 9th of December 2015, listening to the election result. I listened to it. To me, it wasn't going right, and I knew to myself they were stealing the election. Especially when I listened to some of the polling stations coming out of Caliacor. It didn't add up at all. So early the next morning, by the 10th, I was right in front of the legislation, seeing all those open ballot boxes going inside there, and yet they're saying that this election was stolen. I get the gumption and the guts to stick up on the front line for many nights, many days. We were called all kind of names, all kind of hope, all kind of bad things by media personalities and certain media radio station in St. Vincent. It didn't deter me, and I stick it out to the end. But what makes matters worse is that I have lost all respect for those ladies, some of them who even taught me in school from my hometown of Barley, who have let me down in such a big way by going out there and even letting down the Almighty, who some of them praising and even going to church to pretend there is a big part in the church and steal an election. And that led me to believe this when I sat in the court 2 days on a straight, listening to the evidence given from those poor clerks, the presiding officers and returning officers. So I know to myself this election was stolen. So Ralph, give up the ghost. Do what is right. You know to yourself, you and your party join together and put things together in place to get this election in your hands. Look, for instance, we are replaying some tapes where your counterpart, Julian, was at a rally in Barley, and the same 2 seats that was stolen that we are protesting in court now by the petitioners, those are the 2 seats he emphasized on and said that they surely have to get them. We have to put our thoughts behind because those seats are coming to you folks. So you all know what you all do. You all adjust the ballot box, you all do what you all do. So now is the right time. And for you ladies in Barley, those of you who I grew up with, even though I pass in the road and I'm saying good morning and hello to you all, don't believe I respect you anymore. The only way I can respect you is when I see you profess to yourself and ask for forgiveness in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and say, I was involved in stealing the election, but I am sorry. Then and only then, I, Weena Cassandra Roberts, will respect all of you. You all let me down, including my former teacher from Layou. We even checked on the journalist because the journalist reported his evidence in court, which is very wrong. So Ralph, again I say, give up the ghost and give us our election that you steal from us on the 9th of December 2015.
Anybody else?
My name is Sharon. I'm part of the Frontline. I'm happy to be part of the Frontline. I was not in the courtroom because of my job. But I want to say that I'm very proud of everyone who was on the front line from day one until now. And if I have to do it all over again, I will do it. And we need justice, and we will get justice no matter what it takes.
My name is Clarice Banda from Barley, and I went to the court to justice, and I know by God's grace that we'll get justice. And I regret that I was by the front line, and I know that they stole the election. They stole the election, and by God's grace, we'll get our victory.
My name is Kenneth Bracken. I'm a member of the Frontline, and I would like to say to Mr. King, thanks for being so courageous, and encourage those of us who are members of the Frontline to stick up and fight for justice in St. Vincent. On the 2015 December election, the 9th of December, after the result keep coming over, I was very annoyed because some of the report and result, the maths wasn't adding up, and then I said, no, something is wrong. And then when I heard the announcer saying they are waiting on Central Leeward, I said, Central Leeward again? That means that's another stolen seat. I'm confident that they stole the seat in Central Leeward, and also I'm confident that North Windward's seat was stolen. And I wasn't in court, but what I heard on the TV coming out from the courtroom, I was very disappointed in a lady like Miss Finney who claimed that she knows the laws, and then when asked questions, she's saying she can't recall or she never see this or whatever. And I know that she was forced to do what she do, and she was forced to say what she said, but I know that she in herself is convinced and know that the election was stolen from us. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed and saddened that my leader, the Honorable Arnold Eustace, did not get the privilege to lead this country, because I know that he will have bring just prosperity for us in St. Vincent, because I know he's a man of integrity and a man of discipline. What he said he means, and I'm so disappointed, but I'm very confident and hopeful that victory is about to happen in this country, and history is about to rewrite in St. Vincent and the Grenadines when the judge give us our justice. Thank you.
As some people we must thank, but before we do that, we need to let the world know some of the abuse we have endured. In January of 2016, we had the police come out. It was January 6th. I was in the bank when I got news that the police was out in their numbers, about 10 or so in khaki, in fact, I didn't know how they were at the time, but he was acting commissioner. They were all out in their droves. And it was that day that I was arrested. That case is still ongoing. A few days later, I got another call. They grabbed up Susan and a few others, our pots, pans, bells, flags, you name it, and they still have it. I noticed that they returned some people, some marijuana growers, utensils, but we still have ours. And one of these days we'll go there and don't move until we get our things, and I promise to do that. Apart from that, we had the police coming there were 2 police. At first there were about 3 or 4, and then they went down to 2, guarding the electoral office with guns, yes, with guns, guarding the supervisor of elections. And now it is clear why she was so scared. We weren't there to do her any harm. But it's beginning, it is open now as to why she was so fearful. Yes. She, in the end, you know, I wonder how she feels. Because I do feel sorry for her. I mean, some people don't like to hear it. But if you're a human being with a conscience, with emotion, and you look at that woman who was once, who had a very noble name in the society, just sitting there and being torn apart. Now it might be mistakes, I don't know. But to have found herself in a situation like that, where she could not even give an account for a document that was so critical to the election, Form 16, you know, and then you had this gentleman from Georgetown. He was so, Bill Davis, yes. Those two really did hurt me. But the one that I would really like to see more action against is that woman, Miss John. The woman who denied somebody a vote because she heard a click and a flash. I don't know how you could hear flash, but she heard a click and a flash. There's nowhere in the law that gives that woman that authority, but she said she did it, an authority of what she was trained to do. So there's a lot to talk about. At this point, I want to thank the internet crazies. And some of those people, I'm not going to leave out some of the names, but it's a chance. Jeffrey Providence, we have to mention him. Garfield I, we have to do that. Dwayne Saunders, we must. Candice Ledlow, we must. Nyla John, we must. Carla Duggan, we must. And of course, yeah, Errol, yes, oh yes, Errol and his wife, Sharon. I know it's Sharon Dishon, you know, so Sharon Dishon. And not forgetting Breton Horn. Charles Sampson, yes. Breton Horn, for what he is doing on the radio right now. Nyron Chance, who is more or less behind. Dr. Friday, who lends his support from time to time. Tyrone Daniel, not Daniel, Tyrone James. Hold on. And a special thank you to the Honorable Army. This man believed in the front line. There were times when I would feel down and he would be the one pushing me. One time he said to me, Lizette, you leave the front line dead, you know. He believed in it. And I am so distraught to know that at the end of the day, we would never have again a prime minister, Annie Eustace, and of course our good friend Kali. Kali was feeding, he's been feeding us, and if we're still there, he'll get, yes, Kali and Bigger Bigs. And you were saying somebody else? Cobblestone, yes. Eh? Baylis. Oh yes, Baylis. Yes, yeah. You know, of course that was another victory when we managed to stave off the government from taking over the Cobblestone. Yes. And that's it. So thank everybody. If I leave your name out by mistake, I'm sorry. We can add it on the Facebook. So thank you.
Yeah.
And of course, Brian. You know, how can we forget the gentleman who allows us to use his office? Daniel Cummings. Daniel Cummings. How can we forget that? Thank you.